This is the projected trajectory of global hip fractures over the next 3 decades. If current trends hold, by the year 2050, the world will face 21 million of these fractures every single year. For those over the age of 50, a hip fracture is often a terminal event. Suffering one carries up to a 40% risk of death within just 6 months. That makes the lifetime risk of dying from a hip fracture roughly equal to the risk of dying from breast cancer. Yet while cancer receives massive global attention, 80 to 90% of these bone fracture cases go completely untreated. This disease is quietly killing millions because the global healthcare system is operating on an incomplete definition of what a bone actually is. We can see the failure of our current model in the data from bone density scans. These tests regularly clear patients as healthy, even though more than half of all future fractures occur specifically inside that supposedly safe group. These scans miss the problem because they focus entirely on the amount of calcium present. They treat human bones like static, lifeless pillars of rock, relying on the rigid, chalk-like appearance seen in a standard X-ray. But calcium density is only part of the story. To see why bones are actually breaking, we have to look past the minerals and into the hidden organic architecture that holds the skeleton together. That architecture is built on collagen, a protein that comprises 90% of your bone's organic matrix. Collagen acts as a tensile scaffold, working like ropes and pulleys to provide strength against gravity and absorb shock. But if this collagen web degrades, the bone becomes brittle. Adding calcium then is useless, like pouring fresh concrete onto a rotting frame. Bone strength is a product of flexibility and the structural integrity of this hidden collagen web. This web is not static. Bone is a living tissue that exists in a constant state of being destroyed and rebuilt. 2 cells drive this. Osteoclasts act as a genolition crew, breaking down old bone, while osteoblasts act as builders, laying down new tissue. Hormones like estrogen and testosterone act as the managers of this cycle. They stimulate the builders to produce collagen while keeping the demolition crew from working too quickly. When these hormone levels drop, as they do during menopause, the balance shifts. The demolition crew begins tearing down the scaffold faster than the builders can repair it. But the crisis isn't just about aging. Surprising modern lifestyle triggers are acting as switches that sabotage this entire remodeling process. Chronic stress leads to sustained high cortisol levels, which directly destroy collagen and strip calcium from the bone matrix. There is also a chemical link in our medication. SSRI antidepressants artificially raise serotonin, which sends a signal to the osteoblasts, the bone melders, telling them to stop working. Even social isolation leaves a mark. A lack of oxytocin, our bonding hormone, removes a chemical signal that bones require to grow and maintain their density. Our modern emotional and chemical states, high stress, heavy medication, and low social connection, are effectively reprogramming our skeletons to tear themselves apart. This cellular destruction is the engine behind the global epidemic we see in the data. The projected explosion in hip fractures is the result of a perfect storm, a global population that is living longer while being bombarded by these environmental and chemical triggers. Rapid urbanization, especially across Asia, creates environments defined by chronic stress and social isolation. These conditions accelerate the biological degradation of the skeleton. The global osteoporosis epidemic is a mass mechanical failure, triggered by the way modern life has shifted human behavior and mental health. This is why the traditional advice to drink a glass of milk is insufficient. You cannot protect a dynamic, living organ with a one-dimensional approach to nutrition. A real defense requires a holistic strategy, managing cortisol, balancing neurotransmitters, fostering social connections, and maintaining the mobility needed to keep that collagen matrix flexible. Ultimately, the physical strength of our bones is a structural reflection of how we live, how we feel, and how we connect with the world.